And so I thought I would like to talk about my setup of my coffee station, which I think not too many people talk about it on the internet. But I hope that basically just to show you what I have, what I've set up, give you some ideas for especially newcomers how to set up their own coffee station and why I'm doing certain ways like that, you know. So this is very dependent on what you have to deal with or what space you have. So yeah, this is so much space I have at this point in time, right? If I have a much more bigger counter, it won't look like that. So okay, so hopefully this gives you some references on how some people set up their coffee stations. First off, is the rack. This rack I got it actually from the US, imported from the US. The reason is that in Singapore we do not have a wired rack that is so wide. Okay, most of them are actually like this much, and so I previously I had a smaller rack, and I didn't have so much enough space, and I found this on the internet, and especially it came with a butcher blocks. I'm sorry, a solid piece of wood. Most of those in Singapore doesn't come with anything like that. It's just a small little thin plank, and I don't think it holds my coffee machine too well. It sort of sags, so the butcher blocks really helped a lot. So one thing that I never knew about butcher block is that you have to treat it and you have to oil it and condition it. Maybe every 6 months, up to you. As you can see, currently it's a bit bronzy in color because I recently retreated it with I think those butcher block oils and conditioner twice, two things, right? Yeah, so basically I have to take up everything, yeah, just oil it and then dry it for over 1 day, and once it's dried I put everything back once in every 6 months. What it does is helps to waterproof the butcher block, and also the only time so when the conditioning wears out, the color become more and more pale. That's when I know that I need to sort of reapply again. Sometimes I do get lazy and then I get stains all over, but that's okay. This is what the butcher blocks does, right? So for my setup, I have the espresso setup on this side, and I have my filter setup on this side. So I'm doing both. Okay, over here is my new bean cellar from Normcore. I really liked it. See that? Normcore, right? Okay, and let's talk about filter, right? So what I have is I use 3 tubes for filters and 3 tubes for my espresso, so I don't keep them in the tube for too long. So what you're seeing here is what I call the reset position. So every time everything here, okay, is in the reset position, including what's below, right? That means that's every time I finish whether my filters or finish my espresso and I clean up, I will reset everything back to this position. This is something that I learned from the barista course, right? Is that once you have a similar reset position all the time, you know where all your things are and you can reach out to them easily. So for example, what's below here, I know if I just reach out to here, it'll be my milk jug, and I reach out to here, it will be my coffee cup, right? And over here is all my filter cups, all my cups for my filters, right? And of course I have my what's that called, refractometer, yeah, and of course my my filter papers are here and all that. So this is my reset position, and I try to keep it the same all the time. So, and of course over here I set up, because this is a small area, and I set this up like that. This is reset, right? Doesn't mean that when I'm working on it, it's like that. So when I'm working on it, I probably move things around, you know, the scale is probably here and all those stuff, right? So okay, good thing is that my knob box is flexible, so if I'm working on my espresso, my knob box is here, right? I probably would shift this here and put my knob box here, and so I have a space here to start working for my espressos. Okay, cloth. Now I have used a generic cloth for cleaning everything else. On the machine and everything. I try to make sure that the machine also looks clean and free from coffee oils, right? this is specifically for milk, steam one. Sorry, not for milk. Sorry, for the steam one. You have one thing is you have to wet it in order to clean your steam one. I think a lot of people, some of them actually use pretty dry. They don't wet enough, and the milk stain doesn't really get removed from it, right? And very important tip is that the tip right here, yeah, a lot of times we just wipe around here, and we don't, and you end up with a lot of stain. So that's why a wet cloth will help to clean down this daily, and so remain stain free. This is my portafilter cleaner, dryer. Okay, my two portafilters are here. I'm mainly using a 15 gram now. This is an 18 gram. Okay, I have this little milk jug that I bought you previously, and now I'm using it just for keeping stuff like that. This two is my espresso cups. Okay, this is for my for the espresso. Both of them are for espresso. This is when I'm doing milk beverages, so that I can pour it out, you know. And this is if I'm just doing a pure espresso and I'm drinking it directly from here. Okay, what else? Okay, here obviously my scale and my tamping mat and stuff like that are here, right? My coffee bean holder, my RDT2, everything is here. Okay, so if you notice one thing, but the position of my handles are all standardized. Again, this is training from my barista training. So I know that, so that once I reach out below and grab something, I know where the position of the handles are, and so I can easily just take it and I know that it's here. If I just randomly put it like this, or sometimes it's like that, you know, I just have to I look at it again before I can find it. So you notice all my cups are in handle is one side, and and my milk jug is on the other side, right? Just to make sure that I can differentiate between these two easily, right? And of course my funnels, I don't really use this anymore. My funnel, and my part screen is here. This is and then my refractometer, right? Okay, now let's talk about the tools that I have. This is just mainly for cleaning the external part of the grinder. I only use exclusively for the grinder. Okay, sometimes a bit more. This is originally meant for the portafilter, but now that we use the filter paper, I hardly need to use that to clean it down. These two chopsticks was meant to be stirring, sort of creating a divot in my V60. So I'm using a different method now, so I don't really need to create a divot, obviously, right? The pen is to write down what number, what setting I have on my Comandante, because although I do record it on my ink pad, but sometimes I'm just too lazy to turn it on and all that stuff. So I just decided to have a little dashboard here, whiteboard here, and just write the number so I remember what number, and what's my brew in and brew out kind of weights, right? This one, this is a common brush. I'm using it to brush everywhere, okay, to clean off all the coffee dust. And this part is used specifically to clean the inside of my grinder. Okay, of course you can see that I have my refractometer here, right? And of course, two more tools. This obviously is for the group head. This is also for group head. So why do I have two? I have no idea, but I bought two. Okay, and then my canisters are here, right? So I keep them down here since and try to keep away from light, and that's why I have my bean cellar here. So I only like sort of open them every like 3 days, 4 days after I finish using. The rest, these are just the rest of my rubbish stuffs. So more or less this is how I set up my coffee table. Hope this gives you some references. Thank you for listening.